In Washington today, President Donald Trump took center stage once again, leading a highly charged White House roundtable focused entirely on Antifa, a movement his administration has repeatedly described as one of the greatest domestic threats to the United States. The meeting, held in the state dining room, was broadcast live and quickly became the day's most talked about political moment. Surrounded by conservative commentators, law enforcement officials, and administration insiders, Trump used the platform to double down on his vow to confront what he calls violent left-wing extremism, head-on. From the moment the cameras started rolling, the tone was unmistakable. Trump sat at the head of a long table draped in the American flag. Behind him, the presidential seal gleamed as he looked directly into the cameras and said, "This is not protest, this is destruction. This is not about free speech, this is about terror in our streets." His words drew nods from the participants around him, many of whom have long criticized what they see as lenient treatment of Antifa-related violence. Among the guests were conservative journalist Andy Ngo, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, and online commentator Nick Sortor, each of them known for outspoken views on Antifa and its alleged role in nationwide protests. At one dramatic moment, a participant placed a partially burned American flag in front of the president. Trump paused, picked it up, and said, "This is what they do. This is what they think of our country." He then turned to his attorney general and asked, "Can we prosecute this? Can we make sure people who burn this flag face real consequences?" That exchange instantly went viral online, symbolizing both the intensity and controversy surrounding the event. Trump's message throughout the roundtable was clear. His administration would use every available federal resource to identify, disrupt, and prosecute what he described as organized Antifa networks operating across the country. He vowed that the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security would work together like never before to restore peace in America's cities. "We will be very threatening to Antifa," Trump declared, echoing remarks that made headlines just hours later. The president's comments follow weeks of renewed unrest in several major cities, where protests have once again flared into clashes between demonstrators and police. Trump has repeatedly argued that such violence is the work of professional agitators rather than spontaneous activists, claiming that Antifa operates like a coordinated organization rather than a loose movement. "They are trained, they are funded, and they are dangerous," he said, adding that, "America will not tolerate domestic terrorism under the false banner of social justice." Governor Kristi Noem spoke next, drawing a striking comparison between Antifa and international terror networks. "They are just as sophisticated as groups like Mississippi 13 or Hamas," she said. "They recruit online, they use encrypted communication, and they have an agenda to destroy America from within." Trump nodded approvingly. Conservative commentators at the table applauded, with several calling for new laws to classify Antifa activities as organized crime, but the president's roundtable was not without controversy. Critics immediately accused the White House of using the event as political theater, arguing that it blurred the line between law enforcement and campaign messaging. Legal experts quickly noted that the U.S. Constitution protects even unpopular forms of expression, including acts like flag burning, under the First Amendment. The American Civil Liberties Union released a statement within hours, warning that the administration's rhetoric could criminalize dissent and punish ideology rather than illegal conduct. Nevertheless, Trump's team defended the event as a vital step toward protecting American communities from escalating unrest. The president's senior advisor told reporters afterward that, "The American people are tired of seeing their cities burned and their police attacked." The roundtable, he said, was about drawing a clear line between lawful protest and lawless violence. Trump himself has long sought to officially label Antifa as a terrorist organization, signing an executive order earlier this year attempting to do just that. While such a designation carries limited legal power, since there's no statute defining domestic terrorism as a chargeable crime, the move was intended to send a strong message. The administration argues that it allows federal agencies to better coordinate investigations, follow funding trails, and treat Antifa-linked cases with the same urgency as international terrorism. Still, many in the intelligence community have raised doubts about how effective this approach can be. They point out that Antifa is not a single group but rather a decentralized ideology, an umbrella term for anti-fascist activists with varying beliefs, methods, and levels of organization. Some participate in peaceful counter-protests, while others engage in confrontational tactics. There is no central leadership, no membership list, and no formal headquarters, making prosecution as a unified entity legally and practically difficult. Despite those complexities, Trump's framing of Antifa as a structured, dangerous network has resonated deeply with his political base. For many Americans frustrated by years of unrest and perceived double standards in media coverage, his tough talk feels long overdue. Supporters see him as standing up for patriotism, law enforcement, and national stability. During the roundtable, Trump repeated one of his signature lines, "We stand for law and order, and we will not let chaos rule our streets." Outside the White House, the reaction was immediate and polarized. Protesters gathered at Lafayette Square, some waving signs that read, "Free speech is not terrorism," while others held American flags in support of the president. Cable news networks broadcast live coverage from both sides of Pennsylvania Avenue, one framing the event as a courageous stand against extremism, the other as a dangerous step toward authoritarianism. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of Trump holding the burned flag flooded Twitter and TikTok. Hashtags like #Trump Antifa Roundtable and #Stand for America trended globally. Supporters called it one of the most patriotic moments of his presidency. Critics mocked it as propaganda theater. Yet beneath the noise, the central question remains: how far can a democracy go to defend itself without compromising its own freedoms? Can the government crack down on violent movements without crossing the line into suppressing political opposition? Legal scholars warn that the First Amendment does not protect violence, but it does protect ideology, no matter how controversial. In the weeks ahead, that fine line may become the defining battleground of Trump's second term. Historians note that this is not the first time an American president has targeted domestic movements seen as threats to national unity. From the Red Scare of the 1950s to post-9/11 surveillance programs, efforts to police ideology have often led to accusations of overreach. But Trump insists his approach is different, focused on safety, not politics. "This isn't about left or right," he said during the meeting. "This is about protecting America from people who want to tear it apart." As the roundtable concluded, Trump stood, thanked the participants, and once again gestured toward the flag that had burned in the streets. "We will never let them destroy our country," he declared. "We will stand for our flag, our freedom, and our people." The room erupted in applause, cameras flashing as he left the table surrounded by aides and Secret Service agents. Outside, the divisions in America seemed only to grow deeper. Supporters cheered as motorcades pulled away, chanting, "USA! USA!" while protesters shouted, "Free speech matters." Into the cold evening air. For Trump, the event achieved exactly what he wanted: a clear, unambiguous message of strength. Whether it will calm the streets or inflame them further is a question that only time, and the next election, will answer. But one thing is certain: tonight's roundtable was not just another political event. It was a statement, a declaration that the fight over America's identity, its freedoms, and its definition of extremism is far from over. And as the country watches, both supporters and critics agree on at least one thing: Donald Trump knows how to seize the moment and make it his own.